So listen, pay attention, and focus. I'm a move maker.
And good evening, and welcome to the David Robinson Real Talk, Real People, Real Conversations. This evening topic is dealing with the church. Why people go to church and why people don't go to church. This evening I have an awesome friend of mine who's a pastor. I've been known for a long time, and Pastor Steve Turner Ministries. He's a husband, a pastor, very gifted man. He's a musician. Also has a radio station as well. They broadcast, I believe, called Radio Live
Elevation Radio One.
Elevation One. I'm sorry about that.
We're both old.
But yeah, he's been. And we're going to talk about a little bit about the church this evening and why you believe that people have stopped going to church beyond dealing with COVID-19 and because of COVID-19 and why has stopped them from actually going to church.
Well, we are all in the end of the book. This is Revelation, so the end of the world is coming. So many of the signs of the end of the world are coming, and that's one of them. Besides earthquakes in different places, parents or children rising up against parents, and the church falling away is one of the things that's been prophesied.
Okay.
So what we have is that for the Antichrist to come back, it has to have this type of atmosphere, and the pandemic, man-made, was used to basically separate the men from the boys and the girls from the women.
That's a good way to put it. Okay. Before we get more in depth with that, I want to talk a little bit about you. How long you been a pastor?
Since 2013.
Wow. So, do you believe that led you to this point that God called you to be a pastor?
Well, I have been branded as a pastor or a bishop or reverend since elementary school.
Amen.
I used to wear neckties to school and all throughout. So that was my nickname, and I hated it, and I tried to do everything in life to avoid it.
Gotcha.
And so, at some point, it's been prophesied, it's been talked about. I just didn't want to be bothered because I wanted to do me.
So basically, you just ran from God
Basically,
until.
well, fast as I could.
But now that you have been pastoring for some time and you're walking in the things of God and being a husband, and just tell me a little bit about some of the things that the guests that some people they have this misconception about pastors and I believe that's one of the reasons or some of the reasons why people don't go to church. But because you are still a man that's married, um, a man that loves his family, and a man that's actually dedicated to living his life for God. So just tell some of the people that, some of the things that you go through personally yourself and in this walk and journey that you have been, not only as a man, but as a man of God that's called to do the works that God has called you to.
Well, I would say to anybody that's normally going to be honest and truthful, they really don't want to have it, but when they found it, they can't do anything about it. I remember actually asking God, if you want me to do this, what kind of people do you want me to go after? And he said, the delirious, the depraved, the demented, uh, the perverted. I'm like, oh my God. I said, nobody wants them. They're all in pain. he said, "Who else knows pain better than you?" And I stopped talking because he had me. So I found that you, as a pastor, you find yourself it's not all glamour and glitz. You find yourself giving. I, I was normally a selfish person,
Mm.
so when I was thrust into this, I had to give. Say if you have an event at the church, you have to, since we didn't have many members, so I had to find, my pockets had to come out of it, and I had to feed the people because I don't believe in bringing them in without feeding them after the service. Um, some folks I had to take home, so my car became a shuttle bus.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, and then sometimes people come in just asking for money, so can you just sit through the service before I give you something? What do you need it for? Okay, I'll take.
Mm-hmm.
So, or buying tools, and when you have a small ministry, um, under 50, then it's usually coming out of, unless you have trustees that give, it's coming out of your pocket.
So basically, you become a servant,
Exactly.
and so it's really not about you. Basically, as a pastor, it's really all about him, and I think that comes with growth and time. Um, so I think that's one of the reasons that the misconception that people have that the pastors have, some of them, not all, got the big cars, the glamorous life, and
Yeah.
and some people see that, but it's not all glamorous as you said.
The heart of true pastors are normally constantly giving, because I know some pastors who are always giving, and they don't never get to the part of the TD Jakes and that kind of stuff. That's, each person has his own level of ministry. You shouldn't try to be like TD Jakes because his anointing covers him in that area, but he had to go through some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And if you try to go beyond your faith or your means or whatever, and yet stepping into somebody else's shoes, you're going to catch the demons that are up there.
Wow.
So you don't want to do that.
So basically, the Bible says that every man is given a different measurement of faith. So what God has for you might not be for me or the next person. So, but He's the one that does the elevation, and so. But thank you for that. Still, I want to talk about you're a man that's very talented. You're very gifted. Tell me a little bit about some of the they call you Steve the Music Man. I want to hear a little bit about some of the. Um, you're very gifted on the keys. You can sing. So let me tell me about what got you started with that.
Mama, God rest her soul. I was 4 years old, and as I wrote in my book, when she called me downstairs, and before I get to the last step, she steps up on the step, and she asked me, "Would you like to learn?" Looking down at me, like to learn how to play the keyboard. So I'm thinking, even at 4, I was very analytical. I'm thinking like, well, I got nowhere else to go. She drives me wherever I'm going. She, cooks all the food. I see a man in a suit standing by the keyboard. I said, "Oh, sure, sure." So I started 11 years of classical music.
Mm.
Always on a Tuesday, as a matter of fact,
Mm-hmm.
at 6 o'clock, and he would mess up my playtime with my friends, but that's what had to happen. So I played for 11 years at home, private lessons. Then I went on a strike because I got tired of playing in church. I was in an apostolic church, a big mega church, and they gave me a concert, in a pulpit as a little boy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was playing Franz and Beethoven and Bach and all that. And we're looking like, what in the world is he doing?
Mm-hmm.
This is a gospel apostolic church. And so I said, well, let's clap for him anyway. It's just a Turner song. Let's clap for him. So I said, Mama, I don't want to do this no more. So I stayed out for a year. She found another teacher, Mr. Lorray Norris, and he taught me how to play the organ, the piano, and vocal lessons. And so my mother had a choir. It was called the Radio Chorus of the First Apostolic Faith Institutional Church. They sang for 46 years, and that's how I got my start. So she picked out a song for me, and I didn't want it. So she tried to throw it out, and I tried to throw it back. Nope. And so um, it was called Sign Me Up. I'll never forget it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was my first venture into leading songs. So I started representing the choir, going out to anniversaries and singing for them, giving them the money for the ushers, sing the two songs, and get the heck out, and then get down to church to sing on the broadcast at 9 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think here. I also have played for probably about at least 50 to 100 churches in the city. Played for the quartet group Bells of Joy. Traveled around the country.
Wow, wow, wow. So, before we go to break, we're gonna take a break in a couple minutes. And we're gonna come back and talk a little bit about your book, a little bit about the radio station that you're doing. But before we end, give me a little tune. I want to hear you.
I was afraid you're going to say something. Set me up. This is not right. He's setting me up. Okay, let's see here. Maybe I'll just do that one line to sign me up.
Okay.
That's my first start. Sign me up for the Christian Jubilee. Write my name on the road. I've been chained since the Lord has lifted me. I wanna be ready when Jesus comes.
Man. And they tell me you play the keys too. So if we had the keys here, you would be playing.
Yes, sir.
But right now we're gonna go to a break and we will come back and talk about your book and the radio station.
You're watching The David Robinson Show
on the Coyoteman Show Network.
Real talk, real people, real conversation. You're watching The David Robinson Show
on the Coyoteman Show Network.
Real talk, real people, real conversation. You're watching The David Robinson Show
on the Coyoteman Show Network.
Real talk, real people, real conversation. You're watching The David Robinson Show
on the Coyoteman Show Network.
Real talk, real people, real conversation.
Back here, I want to continue with our actual discussion with Pastor Steve Turner. Tell us the name of your church, the ministry, and then I want to talk a little bit about the book that you have.
Okay. Again, I thank you for being here. The church is called Destiny Changers Deliverance Center, and it's restoring the broken to Christ.
Okay.
And so we open our arms to those who have been wounded. We have a 24-hour prayer line at 1-855-393-3232. And so you won't get a voicemail, you won't get digits and numbers, you'll get me.
Okay, get you directly. Okay.
And so the ministries I have, which Praise Unlimited Ministries is actually a micro-enterprise business that caters to ministries.
Okay.
And so I've been doing that since 1994, and became incorporated in 2000. And so it has Praise Unlimited Christian Jazz Band. It has Praise Event Promotions, promoting events. And also has something that is probably more well known for. It's called the On-Call Organist, which is me. I used to send people out to play at different churches, and if I had one who didn't follow through, I took it personal. And so I came out myself and to do it, and so I've just been doing it ever since. I played for weddings, revivals, funerals, anniversaries, special events. I've done solos for the Dawson Family Memorial from the Mayor's Office of Religious Affairs. Played for Downtown Partnership. I used to be a safety guide, the first safety guide, and so I started a choir, and wherever I went to work, music followed.
So
Yeah.
tell my guests again a little bit more about the ministries and what that consists of and how they can get in contact. I know you said it again. Do you have an email, website, phone number? Which I know you did announce, but you could announce that again.
Yes, sir.
And what that consists of as far as these different ministries, because we have a lot of churches out here and people always looking for opportunities.
Okay. Well, our website is www.ultimatepraise.us, ultimatepraise.us, and it actually has on it everything that we do. And moving from that, the emails we're talking about is for Praise Unlimited Ministries, or for music, One Call Gospel. It's Praise Unlimited Ministries at gmail.com, Praise Unlimited Ministries at gmail.com. And I also do the division of Praise Unlimited Ministries is Stephen Turner Ministries, which deals with voiceovers, narration, Christian acting, and also Christian books, such as Stormproof, which is a collection of sermons. When I was preaching at the church, I would ask myself, why am I writing down these sermons? And because I'm an apostolic, and the apostolics don't write anything down. We just preach from right here. And so I didn't know why, and so I asked the publisher, if I gave you written sermons, could you make a book out of it? He said, yeah, I can do that. And that's what this is, Stormproof. And I got to be careful when I name stuff because I start living it. Been through some storms. So, and then, of course, the first book, which has been republished, The Other Pulpit Life Lessons of a Leader, which actually chronicles my existence with my mother as we battled to, she's trying to create a leader, and I'm trying to fight to go the other way. And it's one thing I think in here that folks might like, and that is I call it the chicken story, where we're coming from church. She's got an usher uniform on. We got KFC, you know how back in the day KFC, not the new KFC. And by the time she comes up the hill, she's trying to take a shortcut. She trips and falls, and all the chicken rolls down the hill.
So how can my guests actually get in touch with you, or how can they actually purchase this book that you wrote? I mean, is it at Amazon, or is it through you, or how can they actually get a copy of this?
Well, I'd prefer them to contact me at Stephen Turner Ministries, and that is at 1-410-302-2737, 1-410-302-2737.
Wow. So, not only just being a pastor, a husband, a musician, a psalmist, tell me a little bit about the radio broadcast, that you have, and how long and you started doing that.
I started the radio program, Christian podcast, called Elevation Radio 1 on March 16th of 2018. And we've had many guests from around the country, but we started first in Baltimore with community heroes. I like to shine the spotlight on those who are normally overlooked. And so we've had pastors on, we've had politicians, we've had psalmists, musicians, producers. I'm telling you, it's been pretty awesome. And once a year, I have what's called the birthday broadcast, where I allow people to call in and roast me live on air.
Wow. And I definitely want to double thank you, because not only thank you for coming on as my guest, but you were part of the reason I'm doing what I'm doing, because I think I met with you earlier this year.
Yeah.
Also, a young lady named Angie, who has a podcast show, and I think that we met, and you was already had been doing that, and I sat down and I met with you and your wife, I believe, at
My favorite restaurant, Applebee's.
Applebee's. Correct. And here we are. I mean, thank God for the Coyoteman Network and his part. But yeah, you was part and had a big influence of why I'm doing what I'm doing. So I definitely want to thank you. You're definitely a pioneer and doing stuff in the community and giving back and all the things that you're doing. And thank y'all once again for watching the David Robinson Real Talk, Real People, Real Conversations. Until next time.
You're watching The David Robinson Show.
On the Coyoteman Show Network.
Real talk, real people, real conversation.